Part 33 of Don't Say Schwarzenegger. So this entire part, I'm going to be talking about possibly the closest person who's a family member to the three Drizzes, whose name has been coming up over and over and over in the last 3 years or so, especially during the beginning of our civil trial in 2021. And her name has come up many, many times when I've been researching where all their mansions and millions of dollars in cash and assets and all that disappeared to after the lawsuits began. Her name is like at the top of the pile. And it's kind of sad that she allowed her name and her identity to be used by Alberto and all of them to cover for them, to help hide assets from victims. But here we are. So now I'm going to be mentioning her name quite a bit. I'm going to be mentioning her college. I'm going to be mentioning her sorority. And I'm going to be mentioning the people that employ her to... You'll see when you find out what she does for a living and for internships. It's going to be like, huh. So this is 27-year-old Annabella Nicole Driz, daughter of Alberto. She went to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and she studied journalism and psychology, which is very interesting because I'm not a journalist. I've been modeling for 20 years. This isn't my job. I'm not a private investigator. I'm not an attorney. I'm none of that. Yet somehow I've been able to read through the lines and do the most basic bits of due diligence to find out that there's a lot of illegal things happening here. Racketeering, fraudulent transfers of assets, millions and millions in money after the lawsuits began. And her name keeps coming up in all the documents. Isn't that wild? I'm sure she's innocent. So, after my lawsuit began, which is about 2015, after my attempted unaliving, the Drizzes were already, the twins, not Shawn, but the twins were already being sued by the girl that I mentioned in a previous part who sued them and she won for schmexual battery of an underage girl because they were doing things to her that were disgusting while she worked for them and Blaze Pizza tried to protect them. So they were already dealing with a lawsuit. So then they have all these new lawsuits in 2015. And I found out both from the girl, I spoke to her, from the girl and looking up documentation that immediately after she filed lawsuit, they started moving all of their assets around, started trying to put their houses here and there, whatever. So it was really, really interesting. What I discovered, there she is again. I just want you guys to get used to what she looks like. And those are her really good friends. So hi, Maggie Fish and Acappuccini, whatever. So anyways, there was a trust fund that was created after the lawsuits had began, both for the underage girl and for the attempted unalivings. And the name of the trust fund that was created is called the ANABELLA NICOLE TRUST, named after you-know-who. So I had to literally call several friends of mine to try to suss out exactly what I wrote down because I just copied down a bunch of documentation. Like, I'm actually going to post the documents in the post after I post this because I still have to talk to one more person about what certain words mean because I'm not a real estate person. And I want to get it right. But I still wanted to give you guys, the goss. So I found out Annabella Nicole Trust, which was created in 2016, so way after the lawsuits of me and her and the young girl. I found out that there were multiple people, like cousins, other cousins, not just her, but another whole family of cousins called the Sidermans. That would be the cousin Pop 710. His name is Sergio Siderman, and he has a law firm in Calabasas, California, which is right outside of Los Angeles. Lolo Siderman, that's a tag. That's just his, I think, Sergio's daughter. And that's Marco Siderman, the football jock guy. That's him right there. And he goes to Westlake, or went to Westlake. Mirta Siderman. We're going to talk about Mirta quite a bit, too. Mirta is the wife of Sergio Siderman. And, of course, there's Maurice Driz and his son, Shawn Driz, tagged in the photo by Marco. Thanks, Marco, for that. So when I found and I started reading through this Annabella Nicole Trust and discovered there was at least one luxury condo, like even for Beverly Hills, luxury condo. This is also the same condo where the Pew Pew white powder bust happened, where they all got rewarded for being caught with all of that, stolen goods, all that stuff. Anyways, so this trust was created, and from what I found in the documents, and I'm going to post this after, remember, is that Alberto Driz was the trustee. The seller on these documents was none other than Mirta Siderman. there was $483,000 pushed through this trust, and then a year later, 2017, $785,000 was pushed through the trust. Then there's a lender. There's like, I'm just going to start throwing out these names because we're going to get into this after, but I want to just hit the bullet points. Eagle Capital was the lender. A man named David Troyce Jalife was a lender. With all due disrespect, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name correctly. The borrower later on the road, a year later after the first time, was again Mirta Siderman, who is clearly related to, which I'll show again because I have a million screenshots of all of them being like, oh, I love my cousin, I love my uncle, oh my God, my nephew, and the best, like they're literally laying it out. And then of course in the civil trial, Shawn tried to deny that they were related and it was also removed from the transcript. We'll get to that. Civil trials, you guys are going to lose your minds. Okay, so what I found from this Annabella Nicole Trust was that Alberto moved his luxury multi-million-dollar Beverly Hills condo into this trust fund. And it was called a Revocable Trust Fund when it was created. Then if you'll notice when we go through the documentation, it turns into an Irrevocable Trust Fund. So, which means it can't be changed. So it started off as, yes, you can make changes to it. Then it suddenly turned into can't make changes. And there's millions of dollars documented going through this trust in the name of Annabella Nicole. So this picture I got of Annabella and her cousin, Marco Siderman, and they were posting this from a mega yacht. Like I'm talking mega yacht in Turks and Caicos during the first week of our 2021 civil trial. Wait till I get to the details on that. It's insanity. There's a reason why I had to take these pictures and pull them off the internet. But so Annabella Nicole Driz is the one that's sitting there with the power over this trust fund that has millions of dollars after the lawsuits and everything, that all of us victims, the underage girl, me, the other, like it's wild. And she's been sitting here, she's been traveling the world in high style, posting. I have got pictures of her just Hermes on the walls. Like it is doing renovations of her new home, which, hey, Annabella, is that the same home that was illegally put into your trust that began as a revocable trust fund and then turned into an irrevocable trust fund like a year later? It's very shady and questionable. I really want to talk to a lot of you. I'd love to hear your comments, people that are in real estate and know about trust funds and stuff, because I have no idea about any of that stuff. I have to like learn it as I go. But in her trust fund, we discovered that $176,000 was paid to Sergio Siderman. That would be Marco's dad, who owns that law firm in Calabasas. It's like an immigration law firm or something. Ooh, we're going to talk about that too. So $176K goes to Sergio for some reason. In 2018, her trust fund earned $869,000. All of this, okay. 2017, $483,000 was in there. The lender, Eagle Capital. A few months later in 2017, $785,000 goes through there. This is insanity. Oh, and there was also the condo that was put into it was sold for $1.2 million. That's one of the properties. So now you have it. I just laid out millions of dollars that they say they don't have. But you know who does have it? Annabella Nicole Driz. She has it, which is interesting because she majored in journalism and psychology at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin. So journalism. So like, you've got to be better than this at me. I'm a model. Like, what? Do better. And I also want to mention that Annabella is part of the Delta Gamma sorority in the Omega chapter. I don't even know what that means, but I'm going to be tagging them in every single post. In fact, I'm going to go back to old posts. I'm going to be tagging them because we need answers from Annabella. And I'm working very hard on trying to get my attorneys to depose her as well, since clearly she knows a lot about where the money's gone and stuff. So I'm going to be working on that, and I'll keep you guys updated. And I'll also keep you updated on whenever we find out Christina's new deposition date is made, you know, because that was totally normal how that happened. But thank you guys so much. I'm going to probably do another one tomorrow, another one of these. I'm feeling really good, but it's nice to be back. Got to pace myself a little bit. But I would love to hear all your comments. Anybody who knows about real estate, trust funds, and foolery. Love you guys.